Alright, let's check out Solana. So we're starting to look pretty good. I mean, it looks like the bulls are coming back in control. I told you I believe the bottom is going to be at $100. We've started to head up since then. On the 1 hourly, the squeeze mom is flipping back in favor of the bulls, and I would like to see a more continuation coming through. I'd like to see a pump to potentially as high as 110. I think this would very, very quickly flip the hourly EMA ribbons bullish, and then that would definitely be a good sign, in my opinion, to potentially enter a long. Now, Sol really likes these flips of the 1 hourly EMAs. They normally carry a lot of momentum. You can see the last times we shifted long on the 1 hourly EMA ribbons, it does normally most of the time work out to be a very, very good buy signal if you are flipping on the hourly EMAs. If we come over to the 4 hour, the bears are really starting to lose control. So while on the daily we have just initiated this move to the downside on the squeeze mom, looking at the 4 hour, that could soon be getting invalidated and we could be flipping back in the favor of the bulls once again. You can also see we've got some ascending support here. Let me try and find like a line of best fit. Let's say that works. Almost like a triangle pattern right here. So we're getting ready for the breakout of this, and also looking at this ties up nicely with the short-term moving average on the 4 hour. So I'd really like to see a break above basically 106. Once we have a strong break above 106, a 4 hourly candle close, I think we could really start heading back up to 112. Now once again, 112 is the most important region we need to flip. And this is not the first time I've been talking about this. I think I made my YouTube channel in January, and we were around this region. We were coming down to the 618, and I was talking about this 112 being a super important level 3 months ago. I'm literally still sticking with this. This is still the most important level. You can see as soon as we fell below it, absolute landslide to the downside. It was a massive area of resistance here. We had a landslide to the downside again. Didn't make it up the third time. And once we finally got above 112, we had a tremendous pump within 3 or 4 days. This was very, very nice. As soon as we came back down, back tested it, big impulse up. Once we lost it, we started landsliding down. So 112 is very, very important. And for me personally, I'm not really comfortable leverage trading Solana until we are back above $112. Nonetheless, the bulls are starting to take control. We are in a slight triangle formation right now. If we do break to the upside, break above 106, I think this would carry us to 112 in my opinion. Obviously, I don't think the price target of this would carry us necessarily to 112. Actually, no, it would. So this would carry us above 112 if we broke above the top of this asymmetrical triangle that we've got going on right now. This would also flip the 4 hourly EMA ribbons. This is really what I'm waiting for. So once again, another great reason we need to get above 112. Not only is it the 618 Fibonacci, the most important level that we have on this entire chart for Solana, once we get above this, short-term moving averages are going to start converging to the upside very, very nicely. So once again, bulls are starting to take back control, but the bears are still in control. So I have to be slightly cautious. I've been saying this, my gut feelings were going to bottom at $100. My gut is still sticking with that. Nonetheless, I do have to be cautious while the bears are still in control. If we look at the daily, we still have a buy signal on this daily EMA ribbon. So honestly, the quicker we pump above 110, but more specifically, I want to get above 112. For the daily EMA, 110, once we get above there, short-term moving average will start to move up. That's what I really want to see. But once we get above 112, 4 hourly will be flipped, hourly will be flipped, daily will be flipped, and the 618 Fibonacci will be flipped. This is really what I'm waiting for. So keeping it super simple, keep your eyes on 112. It feels like I've made this video 100 times. Maybe because I have, like I said, I've been talking about 112 since we were in January. I was talking about 112 being the most major area that we need to get above once we triple bottomed. If you've been watching me for the past month, we were talking about this triple bottom down here and a big explosion above 112. We broke 112, and once again, I find myself talking about 112. We really do need to get above this level. This is super important, not just for the 618 Fibonacci's sake, but for the hourly EMAs, daily EMAs most importantly, but also the 4 hourly EMAs. Coming over to the MFI and the RSI, the Relative Strength Index and the Money Flow Indicator. On the 4 hour, these do look like they've bottomed to me and they want to initiate an uptrend. So worst case scenario, I do see, you know, a move up to 112. Whether it's a rejection or we break above it, in my opinion, we're going to break above it. But like I said, worst case scenario, this wants to move up, in my opinion. I think we're heading to 112, so don't be surprised if we come up to 112 in the next day or so. That is personally what I'm expecting to happen. If we look at these on a slightly more macro time frame, for the MFI, we are putting in higher lows. For the RSI, we're putting in higher lows. But I just would like to highlight, if Bitcoin does enter a landslide, if Bitcoin comes up to these EMA ribbons between 42 and 43,000 and gets rejected and we go into a bearish trend, if we look at the daily EMA and MFI for Solana, there is so much money that is still left to be flooded out of this coin. So the bottom could be a lot lower than $80 if we do start to enter a bearish trend. I feel like that's a given anyway. Nonetheless, that is not my opinion on what's happening. I still see, you know, we've got a low, higher low, and if we do start turning up in the next couple of days or so, the MFI and the RSI will start to head up. The RSI has already started to head up, so we've got a higher low here. MFI still sticking around the same region. Within the next day or so, like I said, I think we're going to push up to 112. I believe we'll be at there tomorrow, if not the next day. When that happens, I believe the daily MFI would have had a higher low, and then we'd have a lot of momentum once we break above 112. Like I said, 112 is the most important region. You can see super important support, super important resistance, super important support once we broke above it, super important resistance once we broke below it. I think the price is going to magnetize to 112 either way. If it pumps above it, we're going to have a huge pump. If we don't manage to get above it, we're going to have a huge dump. I am of the opinion that Solana is going to break 112 and go on a massive rally. My personal price target for the breakout of the 112 would be this 200-day moving average up at $148. That's a 32% increase. But all in all, I'm liking the chart on Solana. We still do have, like, the bulls are still in control. Even though the daily squeeze bomb is to the downside after this move, the EMA ribbons, these are the most important on the daily. And this is why I'm saying 110, 112 needs to break. We need to continue pushing up. The longer we lollygag and hang around these levels, the faster these are going to come down on our heads. But I think we're coming to 112 in the next day or so. If we finish off this video with the Sol BTC valuation, once again, another higher low. Love to see it. So Solana is really looking good against Bitcoin right now. If we look at this in the macro time frame, I mean, we knew this already. We came down to the 618 fib, back tested it perfectly. If we draw this to the close, you know, I think, yeah, I mean, from the close, this actually works a lot better. Actually, it respected it from the close. Like, so I'm going to keep it like this now. I'm going to move the 618 down here. Nonetheless, we've already back tested it, but this is just for future targets. I mean, we're above the 0.5, so I doubt we'll be using this again anyway. But yeah, I mean, MFI is putting in another higher low. We are resetting the momentum on the money flow indicator since our last impulse, which is a good sign. RSI still heading up very strongly, and all in all, I really don't need to overcomplicate this. This really looks good to me, in my opinion. I think if Bitcoin's going to enter a rally, Solana's going to enter a massive rally and outperform it. Even drawing to the candle body close, we didn't even make it to the 618 Fibonacci, which is a great sign. It means we've got tons of momentum. Pardon me. We've come down to the 0.5, even when I draw it from close. 0.5 retest and a strong impulse. So we're really looking good for Solana. Solana against Bitcoin is extremely bullish, in my opinion. I think this chart looks so good. Solana against the USD, I think it looks great, but the Sol BTC pair is a lot more bullish. So what I mean by that, I think both Solana and Bitcoin are going to enter rallies in the next couple of months, in the next couple of days and weeks, really. I mean, that's what I'm predicting personally. But Sol BTC looks like it wants to, you know, smack Bitcoin across the face. Like, it looks like it wants to return to the all-time highs. That's just my opinion. I think once we get above this 200-day, 54% increase will be absolutely nothing. We're currently approximately 85% of the way away from the all-time high in terms of Solana against Bitcoin valuation. So that would mean if you're buying Solana at this range and Solana returns to the all-time highs priced against Bitcoin, you know, you're doubling your money against Bitcoin. And if you're doubling your money against Bitcoin, you know, you're probably going to 2.5x or 3.5x your money against the US dollar. So both these charts look great. I am a big fan of Solana. The Sol BTC chart is, you know, a great reason why I hold 33% of my current portfolio in Solana. I think it's going to be a massive outperformer. I think it's going to smack Bitcoin across the face once we do enter our next uptrend. That's all I've got. Keep your eyes on 112. I imagine we'd be there in the next day or so. But yeah, we really do need to start heading above 112. We need to stop hanging around this region. That's all I've got. Keep your eyes on 112. Break of 112, I'll give you an update, and then I'd be looking to enter along. That's all I've got. Cowboy out. Peace. Not financial advice.